My name's Viramontes. I'm a third generation farmer. My grandpa started the farm in 1953. He started growing commodities, cotton, milos, different grains, pinto beans. Then when my dad took over in the 80s, he started to implement the vegetable program on the farm and is the first one to start growing green chili on Viramontes Farms and has really grown the operation from there. And then about 12 years ago is when I took over and got hooked up with RioGro and been off to the races ever since. Man, working with RioGro has been great. You know, it's not a transactional relationship where they have products that they want to sell you and that's all. They come down here and tell you how great this is because, you know, because it's going to affect their bottom line. It's a relationship-based partnership. I mean, from day one when we started working with RioGro, it was how do we solve this problem? How do we solve this problem? And being able to, you know, pivot and try new things and let's try this and work so close to each other. And it's a relationship that I hope that we keep till I decide to retire, and hopefully it continues on to the next generation, hopefully that takes over. So specifically with chili, the way that I got involved with RioGro was we were actively searching for a way to control verticillium wilt in the peppers. We were losing about 20 to 30% of the crop every year, and it was just like a given that we were going to lose it. And we had tried every kind of bug in a jug you could think of, and Josh approached me and said he might have a solution for the verticillium, and one of the products he suggested, I think I still remember telling him like he was full of it, but I would try it anyway. And no, he was right. We started using some of RioGro's products. We started seeing a decline in the verticillium, and that specific product, it is a staple in all our crops now. And to date, you know, we don't see much more. On a bad year, we'll see about 2% verticillium wilt. So nematodes, we used to always feel like were a big issue. And from the perspective of, you know, that's what was causing the lacerations in the root systems that was allowing the verticillium to get in. And we don't hardly see any nematodes. It's kind of a non-thought year in, year out now. A couple years ago, we saw a little flare up in nematode pressure, which was, you know, it was a surprise to us, but RioGro had a product on hand ready to go, and we weren't decimating our soil life to control the nematode, and we stopped it real quick. After that first year, we started implementing different things, cover crops, and just trying this new strategy of regenerative farming that RioGro is so active with. And we've seen healthier plants, bigger yields. It's made things easier. I mean, farming's not easy, so anything you can do to make it a little bit easier is always great. You know, we're not applying anything to suppress nematodes. We really don't think about them anymore. So this field, you know, we're at the end of the season, so it's been picked through, it's been beat up, it's you know, it's done its job, but we picked some record yields out of it, and we could have probably picked more if we had the time and the opportunity to send it in, and the yields were tremendous this year. So cover crops, I've seen a lot of benefit in cover crops being implemented. I will say that it was a journey trying to figure out how to utilize them in our area with the way that we rotate, with the way that we're trying to grow certain vegetable crops. So it wasn't easy by any means, but just having a cover on the soil and not letting the UV rays from the sun just nuke what you've been working so hard to develop, and getting them out in time so that you can get your cash crops planted. It's really It's really been a good learning process, and I think that we're kind of getting to the point where we understand how to utilize them better. Growing up, my dad always said, you know, if you have earthworms in your soil, then that's a sign of super healthy soil. And so, you know, it was hit and miss. You'd go out and dig around in the fields, and every once in a while you'd find a worm. And now, just about everywhere you go and every field you dig in, you're finding earthworms. They're just prevalent. They are thriving around here. The way that I kind of see the products that we use from RioGro, it's more of a holistic approach rather than, you know, pumping it as hard as you can. It's a slow build process. You see, you know, quick results with some of the products, but after you implement the program and the products over time is when you start to really see bigger results. You start to see a reduction in overall disease pressure. We've seen a huge reduction in insect pressure. We cut our conventional pesticides to almost nothing. We've seen a natural uptick in the natural honeybees. We've got honeybees all over the farm now, and we used to have to bring a bunch of them in for pollination, so that's a huge thing. I mean, we need bees, so, and then the support we get from RioGro throughout the year is just phenomenal. They're always a call away. We can pick up the phone, tell them we see this issue. We start actively talking about solutions rather than just cramming a certain product in the field to see if it works. You know, it's really a networking thing. We work together really closely, and yeah, it's a great relationship.